On Winning the Hope, your first ever victory on the PGA Tour. Here's a look at some of our coverage from the week.
Steve Stricker admitted to our Inga Hammond during Golf Central's pregame that he was quite nervous before the final round of the Bob Hope Classic, even as a four-time winner, even with a three-shot lead.
Well, you know, it's never easy sleeping on a lead on the PGA Tour, especially when there are low scores to be had. So let's show you what happened in today's final round at the Bob Hope Classic. Pat Perez, 3 off the lead starting the day. Third hole, maybe a good omen for Perez. Pitches in for birdie. He would pull into a tie with Stricker after 9 holes. 10th tee now. Steve Stricker on the tee, and winds are blowing about 30 miles an hour. He blows that one right, catches the gust, and that is going to go out of bounds. Boy, Steve Stricker doesn't usually do that. Next tee shot goes in the water. He would make a quadruple bogey. John Merrick gets into the fray. Number 11, Merrick for eagle. And watch him here walk that one in. He knows it goes. He's tied for the lead at 31 under with Perez on 16. Merrick's tee shot. You know, if you're going to win golf tournaments, you got to get a few lucky breaks. And watch this tee shot here. Hits the retaining wall of the canal, caroms into the fairway. Hey, better to be lucky than good. That's a fairway hit. But will he take advantage of the break? Here he is for birdie and the lead. And that one doesn't go, so he does not take advantage. At 17, this is Merrick for par. To stay tied, that slides by. Oh, so close. Perez leads by 1 on 18. Merrick for birdie to tie. And that just slides by. It was oh so close. He knows he needed to make that putt to put some pressure on Perez. Shoots 67 and would post at 30 under. Here's Perez with a one-shot cushion. Crushed his drive. How about this? From 189, he's taking aim at the flagstick over the ridge, rolls out to a couple of feet. Talk about a clutch golf shot over the water. That was good enough for Perez to win for the first time on the PGA Tour. Gets a high five from his caddy as Perez does win. It's for the first time on the PGA Tour in his 198th career start. He's the 5th player in 50 years at a Bob Hope Classic to earn his first win at this very event. Stricker's 77 ties the second highest final round score by a 72-hole leader in tournament history. So Pat Perez wins the 2009 Bob Hope Classic, but he falls 3 shots shy of Joe Durant's PGA Tour record for low 90-hole scores. All 4 of these players shot these scores in the Bob Hope Classic, and all 4 won. Now let's send it over to Craig Can, who's with Kurt Byron.
Ian Kelly, thank you very much. And Kurt, I know you were impressed a lot today with Pat Perez. The going got tough for him, and for a little bit of a change, he got going. I mean, he didn't revert back to the old Pat Perez.
We talked all week about the new Pat Perez. He's worked so hard on his patience, not getting upset with bad shots, bad rounds, and it paid off huge today. This was the 8th hole, sand wedge in hand, hits a beautiful shot, almost makes it, but it clanks off the pin with spin, ends up 15 feet away. Now, this really would tick him off in the past. He got upset.
He did.
But he got over it, and that's the key.
Well, 2002, this was the old Pat Perez. Remember that one-shot lead going to 18, drive out of bounds, walking back to the tee, and that.
Destroys his 3-wood after he hooked it in the ocean after that. Ended up finishing second that week. Then same year, Barclays, great golf course, had a chance to win there. You know, he just was frustrated. He wanted to win so bad, and he put so much pressure on every shot and every round and every week, and he knew he needed to change, and he finally has gotten there, I think.
Back to today on the 8th hole, needs to compose himself and now make the putt that we just watched clanking off the flag stick, and he gets it to go.
This was huge. Puts him right back on track. He's settled in, but I don't think he would have made it in the past because he would have still been upset. Then he goes to the 9th tee, a really tough tee shot, wins hard out of the right. He gets up, he's composed, he's confident, he pipes that driver. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he might have hooked that in the water as well.
So he gets his first win, and maybe in 1 week's time learns more about himself than most guys do when they get their first victory, would you say?
I think he learned 2 really big lessons here. First of all, he made some swing changes. They produced great shots under pressure, so he can trust that new swing, and he knows that the new attitude is going to work. It paid off huge.
61, 63 in rounds 1 and 2. Then the challenging days, rounds 3 and 4, and then the high wins today. But now he is high as a kite. He's got that PGA Tour victory. So let's get more on the champ. We go out to Palm Springs and welcome in Inga Hammond. Inga?
All right, thank you. Here with Pat Perez. Pat, one of the best players never to have won on the tour. We never have to say that to you again.
I can't wait. I'm glad that's dead. Jesus.
Tell me about this day. I mean, who would have thought that the score you shot today would win this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, well, the weather was unbelievable. You know, Strick is very uncharacteristic. You know, Strick, I just can't believe he didn't play better than that. But you know, it happens. In you know, that's it. The weather was rough, and it happened. So you know, I'm just happy as can be.
You know, the other thing that really struck me today was the composure you kept. The double bogey on 5, and yet this new Pat Perez, you keep it together and you keep on going.
Well, you know, I trust my game now. So you know, I knew that it was early. I'm glad it was early, not on like 17. But you know, I knew I had the par 5 the next hole, and I parred that. But then when Strick hit in the water, I thought, he opened the door again for me. And then you know what happened on 10. You know, I knew I just had to play smart coming in, and paid off.
And the marriage thing worked for you. Tell me about that.
Marriage thing worked. God. Paul Casey got married the day after me. He won last week, and then you know, obviously got married the 13th, and here it is. Everyone I know either has a kid or gets married wins. So I'm just glad it stayed true.
All right. Hey, congratulations so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Send it back to you guys.
Inga, thank you. Back with our Golf Channel insider, Tim Rosafort, for more on 32-year-old Pat Perez, a winner for the first time, obviously, on the PGA Tour. Life can begin in the 30s for many players. Is this the new Perez?
Well, Kelly, interesting this morning. You know, he's leaving the Madison Club, and his boy JJ tells him, look, Pat, relax, pretend like you got a cigar in your mouth, you're out playing with your boys. Perez just looks at him and says, 1-800 handled. And that's kind of a code word for them. And obviously, he had the situation handled today.
I'm going to call that number when the show is over and see what kind of advice I can get. Where does Pat go from here? Can he sustain it? Can he take it to another level?
Well, I think so. And everybody talks about the new Pat Perez, and it's all about his disposition and his anger level. But what I'm seeing is a new Pat Perez as it relates to the golf swing. And it's something he just put into play with Mike Abbott, his swing instructor, during the fall series. And you think about how he trusted it today, coming down the stretch. Yeah, it was a little shaky at times, but when he really had to bust it, he killed the drive at 18. And he always used to cut the golf ball. He used to dig these big gouges out of driving ranges, like he needed a sod farm to fill them in. He couldn't get to that back left pin unless he would cut a ball out over the water. And you saw that laser he striped in there. Those are 2 shots that he's going to carry with him the rest of this season and the rest of his career as well.
Great way to start the 2009 campaign. 1-800 handled. That shot was dialed in. Thanks, Tim, very much. And for more on the drama that was today at the Bob Hope Classic, let's send it back out to the men in the 18th Tower, Rich Lerner and Nick Faldo.
Thanks very much. As we look at what this win could do for Pat Perez going forward, Nick, it is not just that he won, but it is how he did it.
Well, I think so. I think it's a real marathon. You know, it's a 90-hole tournament, this one, and in fact, he was leading for just about 90% of the way. And then, you know, when Steve Stricker took over, I thought that was probably good for him, took the pressure off. And then we saw what they went through today. But I think that moment, obviously, he was confident inside. It's always good to hear at the end of it, you know, I was feeling good about my swing. But there was a moment there, which on that 18th hole, when they faced that second shot, that you know, to make 4 to win. It's I'm trying to explain it, that the difference is so massive. You know, if it all goes wrong, he hits it in the water, you're scarred. Now he's done it, hit such a great shot, he gets this way, you know, he gets the positive, the real self-belief out of that. And I think that is what's so powerful in this game.
You know, those winds, they call them the canyon winds, blew in here today with gusts up to, I don't know, 30, 35 miles per hour. Most of the guys, if you look inside the top 10, seem to weather it. And there were some good scores, Adam Monis and Chad Campbell, Stephen Ames, 9 under par. One guy, though, got knocked off, and badly, Steve Stricker.
Oh, Steve Stricker really got hit. You know, he hit the odd bad shot, but then they faced the tee shot on the 10th, and he couldn't handle it. He lost one right, lost one left. And we called it gusts. I've never known gusts quite like that. I mean, it's normally blowing 20, and then there's another gust. But here at times it was perfectly calm, and then wallop, you'll be hit from 0 in 2 seconds. It went back to 20, 30, 40 knots. I mean, it was quite something. So it was a tough day for the guys to handle.
Yeah, wild day, and Pat Perez comes out on top.
Once again, congratulations on your success on the golf course in 2009, and best of luck the coming year in 2010. From all of us here at the Golf Channel,